Number 10, clown tries to break into Area 51. A limousine driver in a clown mask broke into a Las Vegas apartment with a fake bomb covered in fairy lights so he could hijack a plane and fly to Area 51. Yes, this is a true story. On December 8, 2021, 36-year-old Matthew Hancock told police to call him the Chosen One. He had driven the Lincoln through security gates at McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas, Nevada, and then broke through 2 more fences and drove like a maniac on the airport runways. Officers watched the suspect drive between planes before they could stop him. Hancock then left the truck and put on a clown mask before saying he had a bomb. Terrified workers took cover as police arrived. Hancock then told authorities he had a shotgun and a gasoline gadget in his truck, and he was arrested. He also informed authorities that he wanted to hijack a jet and fly to Area 51. Hancock was arrested, and it turns out the quote bomb was just an oxygen tank with a pressure gauge and Christmas lights. Hancock claimed the police had high security clearance, were affiliated to the mob, and had someone owed him millions of dollars. Clearly, someone needs a reality check. Number 9, Sugar Daddy. At the beginning of 2019, a former Playboy model took advantage of 71-year-old psychiatrist Thomas Burchard, an elderly man with dementia. His body was found brutally bludgeoned in the trunk of a car in the middle of the desert outside Las Vegas. Burchard took a last-minute trip to Vegas to see 25-year-old Kelsey Turner. It's unclear how Burchard and Turner met or what the exact nature of the relationship was, but he did financially support her to the tune of more than $300,000 over a relatively short period of time. Basically, this guy was her sugar daddy. Judy Erb, Burchard's fiancée in California, became worried when he never returned home, and she knew in her heart that something terrible had happened to him. Burchard had always been a nice and generous man, but recently had started to forget things. Judy was concerned that Vegas wasn't a good idea, and she was right. The car that Burchard's body was found in ended up belonging to Kelsey, and police arrested her and charged her with the gruesome murder. They also charged her boyfriend Logan Kennison and Diana Pena, her roommate, with the crime. Pena claimed that she had no direct involvement with the murder and blamed her co-defendants. She pleaded guilty to accessory to murder while Turner and Kennison chose to fight the allegations being made against them. Prosecutors spared Turner from the death penalty, and as of earlier this year, the cases are still ongoing. Number 8, Hilton Arson. The Las Vegas Hilton is well known for hosting headlining artists such as Elvis Presley and Liberace, but the famed hotel is also the site of one of the city's most tragic crimes. In 1981, Philip Klein had only been a busboy at the Hilton for 2 days when a fire broke out in an elevator lobby near him on the 8th floor. He told visitors that he used a trash can to spray water on the flames. The fire destroyed much of the building, killing 8 people and wounding 200 more. Klein's actions were originally commended, but investigators got suspicious when he had a Freudian slip, telling authorities he grabbed a trash can and filled it with fire, not water. Klein's statement was questioned further by investigators, and he eventually broke down. He admitted to setting the fire, but he did it accidentally when the joint he was smoking caught fire and set some nearby curtains ablaze. When investigators were unable to duplicate a fire starting in the way he described, they doubted that version of events. Klein was sentenced to life in prison after being convicted of 8 murder charges and 1 act of arson. He later gave an interview where he revealed the truth about what happened. Before work, a friend gave him a PCP-laced joint, and while high on PCP, Klein set fire to several curtains with a cigarette lighter. Moral of the story? Don't do drugs, kids, especially at work. Number 7, The Murder in Concrete. Adult entertainer Esmeralda Gonzalez vanished from her home in 2019. The 24-year-old's body was found in the Nevada desert outside Las Vegas months later. Someone had bound her body with tape, stuffed her into a water tank, encased the tank with cement, and covered everything with wood. A medical examiner determined that Esmeralda most likely died from being fed a toxic substance or strangulation. Cops arrested 45-year-old Christopher Prestipino along with his girlfriend Lisa Mort. Prosecutors also identified another suspect in the slaying, Cassandra Garrett, whom they believed to have participated in the killing. All 3 were brought up on a slew of charges related to Esmeralda's murder. Court documents revealed that they had allegedly tied their victim to a bedpost and injected her with pool cleaner before strangling her to death. Their motive remains unclear. In late 2020, Prestipino was committed to a psychiatric hospital amid claims that his mental health was deteriorating, which put the trial on hold indefinitely. In order to face justice in court, Prestipino will have to demonstrate that he's well enough to understand the entirety of the situation. Until then, he will continue to stay at the loony bin. Number 6. Kidnapping of Steve Wynn's daughter. The casino tycoons who control the Las Vegas Strip are worth billions of dollars, and that net worth makes them and their families targets for thieves looking to earn a fast buck. On July 26, 1993, Steve Wynn, the CEO of the firm that owns Treasure Island and the Bellagio, had just returned home from work when he received a call from a man who claimed that he had kidnapped his daughter. Kevin Wynn, Steve Wynn's 26-year-old daughter, was taken from her house in an elite Las Vegas area by 2 armed men. The kidnappers demanded $2.5 million in ransom, but when Wynn told them that it was all the cash he had on hand, they agreed to $1.45 million. Wynn removed the money from the casino vault and placed it in a white plastic bag in a parked vehicle a few miles from the Strip. When the kidnappers received the ransom, they called Wynn and told him his daughter could be found at McCarran International Airport. Wynn found his daughter bound but safe in a car in the airport parking lot. One day after the kidnapping, an athletic club manager named Ray Cuddy strolled into the car dealership in Newport Beach, California, and tried to pay for a new Ferrari with $200,000 cash. The FBI was waiting for Cuddy when he returned to the dealership a few days later to finish the transaction. Jacob Sherwood, Cuddy's accomplice, was also arrested soon after. Both men were convicted of kidnapping-related counts and sentenced to decades in federal prison. Do you think they would have gotten away with it if they hadn't tried to buy a car? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below and hit that subscribe button while you're at it. Number 5. Law student. Police in Las Vegas received a disturbing call last year from Justin Medoff, a 31-year-old law student, who allegedly woke up to find his 28-year-old girlfriend, Stephanie Duarte, quote, beaten, bloody, and unconscious. When the cops arrived at the couple's hotel room, it was covered in blood. Medoff had allegedly bathed Stephanie and tried to revive her. When medical professionals tried performing CPR on the young woman, they discovered that she was in rigor mortis, the state of decomposition that causes a corpse to become stiff. This meant that she had been dead for several hours from blunt force trauma. The couple had argued out in public the night before and returned to the room separately. Hotel guests reported hearing screaming from the room between the 2 and 3 o'clock hours of the morning. Officers noticed scratch marks on Medoff and interrogated him about what really went down. He admitted that he and Stephanie had argued but denied having anything to do with her death. Medoff's story failed to convince the authorities of his innocence, and now he faces charges of murder with a deadly weapon. The aspiring young attorney's future has dramatically changed as he now finds himself on the complete opposite side of the law. Number 4. The Watch Thief. Wendy Rose Jones, 23, was arrested on multiple counts of felony grand larceny after 2 men reported watch thefts from their hotel rooms at the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas in February and March of 2021. In the first case, Cosmopolitan Security contacted police after a man reported being the victim of grand larceny and potentially being drugged. He told officers he met a woman named Rosa inside the hotel near the bar. He then went to his room and drank more with her. The police stated that the man didn't remember much of the night when he fell asleep after drinking. The man also told police Rosa may have drugged him because he woke up the next morning to find $1,500 in cash was missing from his wallet. His Audemars Piguet Royal Oak watch worth $37,000 was also gone. The man told police the woman had distinctive tattoos, including a lion on her thigh. In the second case, a man told police he met a woman on the casino floor and invited her to his room, where he ordered room service. He said he noticed she had a gigantic lion or tiger tattooed on her leg. He awoke the next day to find his $45,000 Rolex Daytona watch and iPhone 12 stolen. He also admitted to investigators that he had been drugged. Jones was arrested by Las Vegas police in late April 2021. She is currently out of custody since no criminal charges were filed against her in either case, though she still has hearings to attend. Number 3. Supermarket Massacre. In recent years, the United States has seen a string of mass shootings, and Las Vegas is no stranger. On June 3, 1999, Zane Floyd, a 23-year-old ex-Marine, walked into an Albertsons supermarket carrying a 12-gauge shotgun. He shot an employee next to a row of shopping carts near the entrance before rampaging through the store and killing 3 more workers. Floyd was then seen on surveillance camera chasing Zachary Emneger before shooting him in the back and then again on the ground. Zachary Emneger was injured but alive, and he thought that playing dead was his best option. Floyd walked around the store before returning to Zachary's body, stopping for a moment, concluding he was dead. Floyd tried to flee on foot after shooting everyone he could find in the store, but the police had surrounded him. Floyd then stood outside the shop with a gun to his head. He was finally coaxed into surrendering and was convicted of 4 charges of murder, as well as sexual assault on an exotic dancer that he had committed early that morning. He is currently on death row in Nevada, awaiting execution. Number 2, O.J. Simpson's sports memorabilia heist. We all remember O.J. Simpson from his professional football career and his appearances as a comedy actor. Oh, and his murder trial for the deaths of his ex-wife and her lover. Simpson was acquitted of murder, but the families of the murder victims won a multi-million-dollar civil case against him, putting him in financial jeopardy. It was his financial difficulties that landed him in prison. In 2007, the majority of Simpson's income was still being taken to pay off his civil judgments, when he received a phone call from auction house owner Thomas Riccio, saying 2 sports memorabilia dealers would be selling items once owned by Simpson in Las Vegas. Riccio arranged for Simpson and the memorabilia merchants to meet in a hotel room about a mile from the strip, but Riccio put a small tape recorder on a dresser without anyone knowing. Simpson arrived at the hotel room with 5 accomplices, several of whom had guns. Simpson directed his friends to keep everyone in the room from leaving while he collected the items from the merchants. The robbery was finished within 6 minutes, and Simpson and his friends were seen on video joking about their exploits over dinner. But they couldn't be happy for long. When the authorities interrogated Simpson, he claimed no one in his entourage had a gun during the event, and he was simply trying to recover items taken from his residence. Simpson's story unraveled, though, when the audio recording was released and some of Simpson's accomplices volunteered to testify in exchange for reduced sentences. Simpson turned down a plea agreement that would have given him 2 to 5 years in prison and instead chose to go to trial. Simpson was convicted and sentenced to 33 years in jail for kidnapping and armed robbery after several weeks of testimony. It just goes to show you that you only get one get-out-of-free-jail card in your life. Number 1, the Biker Bandit. The casinos that line the Vegas Strip have insane security. As a result, few are ever robbed, and when they are, offenders are usually captured pretty quickly. On December 14, 2010, a man strolled through the Bellagio Hotel and Casino after parking his motorcycle. He approached a craps table while wearing his helmet, then pulled out a revolver. The dealer turned over his chips, and the thief dashed back through the casino, riding off on his bike onto the busy Las Vegas Strip. The robber stole $1.5 million in chips, but here's the thing. They would have to be either returned to the casino or sold to a third party for them to have any value. A few weeks after the robbery, the Salvation Army bell ringer attempted to cash a $25,000 chip given to him by a stranger. Soon after that, a man calling himself the Biker Bandit surfaced on the internet, offering to sell more of the $25,000 chips. Undercover Las Vegas cops set up an appointment to buy some and arrested the foolish man. The biker's name was Carleo, and he had been a visitor at the Bellagio at the time of the crime, and even went to the casino afterwards to drink and gamble. He allegedly robbed another casino 3 weeks before the Bellagio heist, making off with $18,000 in cash. Carleo was also the son of a local judge, which added yet another twist to the story. He was convicted and sent to prison for his crimes. Thanks for watching. What other city would you be interested in hearing about true crime cases? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time on The Bad Badger.